Hey, I'm just out here on the ground doing some of my own jank version of boots on the ground, kind of just doing it raw and unplanned. And I decided to stop at this one spot here first. Oh, someone's putting a fence up. But there's a stone wall here. I wanted to just go ahead and get this to see if I can find shells and stuff in it and whatnot. Because everyone should know my stance on this limestone walls here, rock stone walls by now. And this is no different than the other stuff I covered. I'm just gonna go ahead and cover it here again, because this stuff too has biology and stuff in it. Apologies for the shadow. The sun is beaming right behind me. This stuff does have biology and stuff in it. This stone wall here, limestone wall. I'm hoping no one gets mad that I'm over here, because I don't even know if this is anyone's property or not. But they did put a terracotta piping in this limestone wall. And here we have more shells and biology in this wall here. Some pieces up here that have shells and, well, it fell, whatever. This piece here has some pretty good stuff in it. Oh, there's a shell sticking out right here. So again, limestone structures. It's self-evident. I shouldn't have to keep repeating myself on this. Now, I'm not saying everything that has rock or stone in the infrastructure is limestone, so you're gonna probably not see a whole lot of shells or fossils in them, but that doesn't mean they're transitioned from anything else. Just some things show more things than others, particularly limestone, but there's something down here I wanted to show. If I can remember how to get to it. There's a cool little spot down in here. This stone wall does come down through here as well. It's seeming to be all limestone, because limestone is very native to this area, Kansas City and Missouri area. So yeah, they used a lot of limestone, quarried it and used a lot of it. It's pretty obvious. But let me go down in here and show some other hidden structures down here. Everyone's favorite, terracotta. I gotta try to be respectful and quiet out here. And there's another stone wall here I'm about to scale down. I've been out here before a couple times now. I just haven't shown any of it. In fact, this right here, this stuff here is raw limestone. This isn't some melted wall. It's not a melted wall, I promise. This is raw limestone. I see it all the times along creeks and around water. This is all raw limestone. And you're free to think it's melt, but I'm just going to tell you it's not. You can even see where the water and stuff helped shape the limestone over however many thousands of years it probably this happened, or a singular event, which I call the plasma Lichtenberg scarring of the earth, struck the wet grounds and made the stone and rocks, each reset creating its own new layer. But no, this is raw limestone. So whenever you see something like this, just consider that this is raw limestone. I keep repeating myself now. There's some stuff off over here. Looks like someone stacked some limestone down through here. Jankily stacked it through here. Who knows how old this spot actually is. The only bit of information I got from this is this was a structure from the Civil War era that was built out here in the woods, which yes, is really close to my house. So the only thing I have to work with on this, the structures out here I'm about to show, are Civil War era, roughly, supposedly, allegedly. So this could have been roughly built around the 1860s. These limestone structures out here. Here we got another shell sticking out, just to further support it. More shells sticking out. I promise you, this isn't some janky stone or not janky melted bricks. It's all raw limestone. Because I've spent a good portion of my life rock hounding and doing stuff. I know what a rock looks like, and I know what a brick looks like. It's completely self-evident. Let's go over here to the meat and potatoes of this spot. Oh, there's a cool old bottle. Oh, it's plastic. Never mind, that was glass. Hell with that bottle. Let's go to the meat and potatoes of this out here. Hopefully the mosquitoes aren't too bad, but here we have stone foundation still out here, and some newer, more modern cinder block work. This is was allegedly a Civil War soldier's hiding spot during the war or something of that nature. It's claimed to have been built during the Civil War, this structure here. You see the mortar in it. I'll show the shells. But this, what I see here is just the foundation of this structure. And I do find this material out here as well. Or have found this marble out here. This green marble. Pretty fancy stuff. He's sitting out here in the woods, right? There's some fossils and biology in this piece of the stone wall here, limestone structure. I'm gonna call it for what it is. You don't have to like it. But it's a limestone wall. There's fossils in it right here. There's a shell sticking out. Let me try to get this stabilized. You can see the fossils and shells in there. But anyways, in fact, there's more over here on this piece. Yeah, I should have to keep pointing that out, but I guess I will. But I'm gonna try to be a little better about it because it is kind of obnoxious. It's going to get obnoxious, so I apologize. But I have found this green marble out here. I found a few little broken bottles. Actually, that's a old amber Vicks Vapor Rub bottle. Wow, sad that's broken. Those are actually some of the more rare Vicks Vapor Rubs to find, the old amber ones. In fact, this might be a piece of it. I don't know. But yeah, I've been finding this green marble material out here as well. Clearly been cut, machined. And it's been in this various spots around this rubble because this structure is obviously no longer standing. But yeah, been wanting to show this spot for a minute. This old stone structure hidden in the woods. And I should have to keep pointing out the fossils and the shells and other biology in it because it's completely self-evident that this is built with pretty much all limestone. But if I have to, I will still show pieces occasionally. There's a bar sticking in here. Looks like it might have actually ran through here. So here we have this janky stone wall structure here. I'm gonna call it janky stone because it is kind of jankily stacked together. I mean, that part's true. It is stacked together in a weird janky fashion, but hey, it works, it holds. If it works, it works. Some of it comes up through here. I do plan on going to Mount Washington Cemetery and recording a few spots out there. Ross already covered them, but I'm going to go ahead and just cover them for myself. as the nature of it is, I'm trying to stick with places I could either walk to or ride my bike to. So those places came to mind, and I've been wanting to record those anyway. Kind of share my thoughts on them and point out some things. But yeah, hopefully mosquitoes aren't gonna get too bad today. Oh, look, I found some more limestone with mortar on it right here. See the mortar? Little limestone crete stuff here. See the mortar? Mosquitoes are starting to come out. I need to hurry up. There's shells in this material as well around all this stuff. More biology and shells. More biology and shells. Trust me, it's just scattered in all this stuff. But let's go ahead and get down to the meat and potatoes of this structure here before these mosquitoes eat me up alive and I get unmotivated and go home, which they're doing a damn good job at already. Now that I've been out here and they are sensing me, smelling my blood. Let's go ahead and try to record this structure here. Try to get back a little bit. This is either the foundation or this was actually the structure itself. I'm gonna say this is just the foundation, and they built bricks upon this. Because they would build the stone like this because it makes a strong foundation. Can't call on twigs. I feel my ankles getting eaten up alive. This is great. Really want to hurry up with this. We got this heavily dilapidated, now collapsed structure. And like I said, I do believe this is just the foundation they built upon. They'd make this because if the ground was soft, they'd have to dig down to the thickest parts of the dirt or clay and then stack bricks on it. Stone, I mean, and then stone to brick. Okay, let's get in here. We got this surviving corner. And you'll notice there's no brick just randomly put in here anywhere. Man, these mosquitoes got bad pretty quick. I need to hurry up. You can even see someone rub their hands on this one. They packed the mortar in, fingerprints in there. More shells and biology in there. However, I did see this spot over here. Gosh, I need to hurry up. These mosquitoes are really getting bad. But I did see this. What are those red bricks doing in there? Did they build like that? Yes, they did. You can see the straight line. The straight line in the stone to brick separation here. This was built like this, FYI. This isn't called survivors. This is was intentionally built like this. You can see the separation between the materials. Clearly built like this. Yeah, whenever you see stuff like that, that was built like that. That isn't just some magical survivors that were selectively ignored during a big cataclysmic reset. And here's some bricks down here that I found kind of laying around out here. But yeah, with this place in mind, I think I need to hurry and get out of here because these mosquitoes are being absolutely fucking relentless. Some more stuff over here. Probably just gonna climb up and go out this way even. This does have different mixes of stuff in here. Looks like some people put some more modern stuff in here. Pushed a fence in here. Other things. This looks like it might have been some sort of little fireplace thing or something at one time. Because this piece up here is kind of, it's now filled in. Old cast, oh, that's plastic, never mind. Probably should have assessed it before I said anything. But yeah, there's just this quick structure. It looks like it goes further out here as usual. But this is just kind of covered up with stuff. There's the other side of that intentionally built structure. The stone and brick combo. Not surviving stones, or brick I mean, apologies. That was made like that. And anything other than that is just exactly what it looks like. It's janky repairs, which look like shit. Some more stuff off that way. So I need to get out of here because these mosquitoes are going to drive me insane. So there's that. This is hiding off down here in the woods. I did find a stamper out here, a Browning tin stamper in this, but yeah, guess I'm going to pause this and go on to Mount Washington Cemetery because I don't want to spend too much time here anyways. Well, I wish I could have spent a little more time here, but as I keep saying, the mosquitoes are really tearing up my ankles. It's getting irritating. So with that, I'm going to pause this and proceed on to the next spot. Well, I'm at the next spot briefly. Kind of wanted to slide this one in because I forgot to record this last time. I was going over on my tirade about non-transitioning brick to stone. But there's this piece here. I'm gonna go and just quickly get this one in. I apologize, I'm right off of Truman and it's loud. Already got fossils in it, biology, more biology, a broken shell, just random bits of biology and fossils in here. So this is another limestone piece of infrastructure. As I said, limestone's native to this area, so they used a lot of it. And there's more shells sticking out. More packed biology in here with the shell. Actually, that's kind of a weird vein of it right there. It's kind of strange. There's a shell with crystal sticking out. There's a fossil. There's more fossils. So again, we have evidence of exactly what I've been saying. This is just limestone. I feel like I gotta keep repeating myself because people don't want to listen. For those who don't want to listen anyways. More biology on here. More fossils and biology. I'm not sure how people, when they document these spots, they somehow don't notice these shells and fossils in this. But yeah, that's really all I wanted to show with this one. Just to show that the few spots I showed in my prior video wasn't just some kind of happy accident, just to prove my point. I'm gonna keep documenting these spots and showing all the fossils and stones in them every time I come across a stone structure. but they're not all equal, so your odds are some of them you won't see any fossils or stones, because some rocks and stones just have more than others. Limestone having a lot as usual. But other than that, I guess I'm gonna get back on my bike and go on. Well, actually, apologies. There's another spot over here I wanted to get real quick. It's hidden in the trees. I don't know if I want to climb to it or not, but it's hiding up here. Make sure there's no poison ivy. Get that broke out of my way. Actually, you know what? I guess I will just go ahead and scale up to this one as well, because why not? Here we got another one of these limestone walls, or column pieces with iron sticking out. So same thing, just in a different spot. This area was clearly fenced off with a nice limestone work. Look at all the biology in this piece. There's a whole fossil. Entire ass fossil in there, boys and girls. All you have to do is get up and look at this stuff. I have to keep saying it. It's not transitioned fucking material. It's not. And on that note, for red brick to turn tan, the matrix of the mix would have to change also. Because you'll notice red brick and tan brick have different mixtures. And I've yet to see a red brick mixture that's tan. Stupid glass bottle. But other than that, I'll go on about that a little later. I'm not distracted with all this stuff and trying to avoid mosquitoes. Because if you noticed, red bricks and tan bricks are different mixtures. Various different shit that goes behind making bricks, apparently, from what I looked into and learned. But yeah. So when people are saying that red bricks are transitioning from tan to red, or red to tan, whatever the hell it is, because it's bullshit anyways. Yeah, the mixtures would have to change also, but I have yet to see that. All we ever see is burnt, cooked out, melted stuff. We never see tan anywhere in the mix of it. We never see a legitimate red brick with the tan coloring in it. You never see it all that well. And I made a mistake here. I should probably pause this. Sorry, I'm gonna pause this. Sorry for the random rambling there I had to randomly pause from, but I'll pick up that later or not. But here we got more limestone architecture off by the main gate of Mount Washington Cemetery. I shouldn't have to get close and show the fossils or the shells. They're there. Oh, well, I guess for completeness sake, I lied. Let's see if we can't find some shells or fossils in here and show it. Yeah, there's sirens. I'm gonna pause this for a second. That's independence for you. Sirens all the time. This one's kind of weathered. It's kind of hard to see them. But there's a shell sticking out right there. Yeah, also depending on the various states of weathering and deterioration, it is kind of hard to find this stuff, even if it's limestone. There's a shell sticking out with other biology sprinkled in there, fragments, remnants. Sorry for the wind if it's getting obnoxious and it's picking up on the phone mic. There's those other random bits of biology all sprinkled in here. There's a shell sticking out right here. Yeah, so this is just all limestone still. Still have yet to see any transition material here. Kind of a cool old iron gate here, just chilling. But yeah, this limestone goes all the way around here. Now, I'm wondering if some of the stuff has been processed down to like a cement mixture and then re-hardened in some cases. Well, I guess I'll show that when I get to the spot, though. My arm starting to itch or burn from something biting me just now. That's great. More pockets of stuff right here. Well, yeah, that's all I really want to show with this, just to kind of keep nailing the point home, or home running it, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. I just saw a little newt run across the wall. Cool. Some weird re-grouting here they did. And they did this style of grouting. This is a weird choice, but there's some of the old original mortar right here, and they came through later and then added this other stuff, I guess when they re-grouted it or some shit. But yeah, so that's that. More biology all sprinkled in here. Shells, various fragments of shells and other things. The sun's so bright I can't even see my phone screen, so hopefully I'm capturing this stuff okay. And I gotta pause this again here soon and move on to my next spot of things I want to document for myself. And there's more sirens coming, so this is a good time to pause it. So with that in mind, tell my next spot, or something else comes up. Okay, I found my next spot I wanted to kind of quickly point out and just talk about just a tad. But when Ross came through here, he said he didn't see any stampers in the mix of these red bricks here. There are some out here, and I'm going to show those, just because, I guess, why not? Because he missed them, and I'll just go ahead and cover that. But these bricks, to me, were never made with stamps on them. It looks like the diamond brick mixture, but they didn't stamp them. Yes, I believe that a lot of bricks were made, not every single brick had a stamp on them. It doesn't make any sense that magically something would erase just the stamp and leave the rest of the brick completely untouched. It's just, yeah, doesn't make any sense to me. So no, these are just these look like the diamond bricks that just didn't stamp them. Because it had that kind of diamond look to them. Because I even thought they were diamonds when I first came out here and saw them, but then I saw no stamps on them. So, you know, there's that. Not all red bricks or bricks in general have stamps on them, because not all the bricks were made to be that ornate or detailed. They have, you know, various bricks for various different things. So there's this little spot here, and then I'll pick up when I get to my other spot. Okay, back onto this point again. That just to show these were just made the way they were with no stamps on them. These aren't just face down. These don't have stamps on them. And yes, they're made that way. Until anyone can prove otherwise, I'm gonna stick with that, because it's self-evident that those were just made without stamps. There's really no mystery there either. So, because I've yet to have anyone explain to me how such a destructive event can cherry pick so much. You can't make it make sense. It's just a damn rabbit hole. It's a trap. A self-induced trap. Those were made without stamps. Simple. Because I've yet to have anyone explain to me how such a destructive thing could just cherry pick just the stamps off, but leave the rest of the brick completely untouched without altering the color, the shape, nothing. So there's that. And these do go quite a way here. Sorry, I'm kind of juggling my bike and the phone here. But I think these used to run all through here. They go all the way down, even around this bend here. So there's that. I guess I'll probably just go ahead and just pause until I get over there. And now I'm at the next spot. And yes, these have always been this weird cement brick. These aren't transitioned either. Don't know why I had to explain this. These were made like this. These are just like cinder block style bricks. I guess you could just say cinder bricks, is just what I started calling them. And I suppose I've heard other people saying that as well. But they're under the illusion that this was a red brick once and it became a cinder brick, which is just retarded, don't make any sense. It's like people just shut their brains off and don't ever snap out of it. It's kind of unfortunate. But no, this is just a cinder brick. This was made like this. This isn't transition material either. Just to go on ahead and just say that. We got more of this limestone here. Do I really have to keep pointing out all the biology and the shells in this? Limestone is very native and prevalent in the Kansas City and Independence area, Missouri and Kansas area in general. So it's no wonder they would quarry a lot of this and use it. The same way in Sioux Falls, they have that red granite looking stone everywhere, and they use that a lot in their infrastructure, their older infrastructures anyway, and along the roads and other things they would make it with. Once you go there, you'll see what I'm talking about, if you haven't already, or if you don't live there. You know I'm right on that. That they quarried that red material there and use it for a lot of stuff out there, or at least did for one point, at one time. Now they seem to just quarry it and ship it out and around the world, over the world anyways. Fossils, more biology. Looks like a big shell kind of sticking out right here. Yet again, not transmutated material. Because if this was red brick and it transmutated and had all these sharp, magically changed angles, this would have collapsed. It wouldn't have never stayed standing. Which for some reason people don't seem to pay attention to those logistics at all. Because I guess they want to see what they want to see, or at least did. Hopefully they will see the evidence and move on from that. But I'm not here to change people's minds or force them to change or convert anybody. I'm just here showing the evidence, and you can do what you want with it. So I apologize. It comes off like I'm trying to be that person, but I'm just showing the evidence. More biology in here. So all these have biology in them. These aren't transition brick to stone. I don't know how many times I got to say that. I don't know how many people want to run off with saying that because they want to be in their little fantastical delusions. That isn't directed towards anybody. That's just an in general statement. I have a weird way of talking, so don't take it personal. If you have, then I guess the hat fits, so wear it. As they say, if the hat fits, wear it. But no, this has always been limestone. Well, it was obviously ocean at one time, or a bunch of different crap mixed in the ocean or underwater, and then, or something along those lines, and then it just turned to this material, which I think the plasma, or a heated event after a flood happened, caused and created this material. So, as I say, flood and plasma probably, more than likely, created this in my mind at least. But this is just limestone. More biology, more fossils. This whole structure behind me, which I haven't got to yet, which now I am, is all the same material. And the sun's going to peek up right over this piece here, as it does. And as you can see, it's all this janky, rough-cut limestone and mortared together. Again, I posed the question, if this was red brick once, how did all this brick change at such extreme angles and shapes, be it the mortar magically reconformed to it and it didn't collapse? Please explain. You can't, because this is exactly what it looks like. There's no reason to try it, and or even to attempt the mental gymnastics to try to explain that, because it's literally impossible. You can't. This stuff was built this way. Mortar boogers everywhere. Someone did a pretty sloppy job on that and they fixed it. But yeah, this is just another one of these limestone structures because, again, as I keep repeating, limestone is a very prevalent material out in this area, so they used a lot of it. The Webb Castle is limestone, the Workhouse Castle is limestone with a mix of brick. Webb Castle is limestone with a mix of brick and other stuff. That might be a shell sticking out there. It's kind of hard to see. There's like a fossil sticking out right there. But yeah, a lot of these, that's why I've said to Ross and other people who've ever read my comments, if anyone, I say I firmly believe and know, it's a fact. It's not even that I believe. It's not my belief. It's none of that. It's a complete fact that the Kansas City, Missouri area and Independence was heavily built infrastructure with stone and brick. And a lot of them were combinations of the two. And yes, you'll see them in various different dilapidated, now falling apart states. And you'll see the red brick in the mix with the stone. It's not because it melted or that's a survivor or nothing silly like that. I'm sorry, it's just, that's not the case. There's a better explanation for that fantastical stuff. Oh, that might just be fungus on there. That might have been a shell. But I'm not here to keep bashing on that. I'm really trying to be nice and peaceful about this time and not get all like worked up and shit. So if you want to hear it or not, I apologize. But I do feel like the community is hurting and needs a course correct because these rabbit holes have just created more problems than they solved. So yeah, we'll get better looks at this. Yeah, this is a really interesting structure here. And it's just limestone. I know I need to stop repeating myself, but it seems like I have to. There's this one humongous chunk quarried up there. That's a pretty impressive piece. In fact, that might be what I think is the processed down and then re-cemented limestone, which we would call geopalmer. Why would they do it with just this one part though? I don't know. It's clearly been done if that's the case. I don't have the answers for that, but it clearly looks like the geopalmer. I think a lot of this geopalmer has those tooling dimpling marks on it. Looks like they almost look like bag marks, like it was formed in some sort of bag or something. A square box with a bag or something. I know I shouldn't say that sounds stupid, but I was just trying to describe what it looked like. I didn't say that's what was going on. But you can see that weird dimpling on this stuff. And it almost looks like there's some sort of, almost looks like they sprayed something on here where the geopalmer's starting to flake and peel apart or something. This part here looks like, almost looks like something was coated on top of this material. Probably can't see inside of here. Oh yeah, you can. Yeah, this is a newer door because it hinges on it. This door has been replaced once. That's definitely not old world. They did a pretty good job at making it look old world, but it's not. And let's go back to this. And this place does seem to close at 5 o'clock, so I came out here to hastily record this and do my usual random ramblings and whatnot. There's a mosquito on my leg. I apologize for the messy camera work there. But I did see this biology sticking out of the limestone here. It looks like a fossil there. More pockets of biology in there. I know, I should have to keep saying it. It's annoying at this point. And the mosquitoes out here are pretty gnarly as well. Go figure. And there's a train. Got some spalling damage on this, some of this limestone. Limestone spalls pretty bad compared to other stones and rocks out there. Just the nature of the material, so not much else more to say there. There's another little structure right here I'm going to get to eventually. And these mosquitoes are being relentless. It's really tragic. I'm trying to be out here and enjoy this, and these mosquitoes are just making it really hard. Pretty cool structure right here for a cemetery, though. I would say. Yeah, I'm gonna stop pointing out the shells and the other things in the limestone for a while. I think my point's been made a long time ago. Hell, you can just start noticing it when I walk past and scan them. I don't even have to point it out. It's just in there. With that nice pocket of stuff in there. Actually, that might just be mortar. When someone came out here and remortared this and fixed it. That's just mortar on there. Apologies. So yeah, there's that. I'm kind of close to this wall. Can't really see a whole lot. Nothing. So let's go up and climb up on this structure. Hee-yaw! Okay, I'm on top. This is really big cut pieces of limestone. You can just see all this stuff sticking out of this. And the sun's beating right on it, so hopefully the camera can see it. All the various stuff sticking out of all this. Big slabs of limestone. Well, here's a really fantastic piece right here. It's got shells and a bunch of other various things in the mix. Got some more of the fossils-like stuff right there. Sorry, I'm trying to get stabilized here. Got some shells, bunch of shells and other mix of things. More little fossils, countless amounts of shells. And this piece is identical. It's got fossils and other things going on. I know I said I was going to stop doing that, but those are really good examples of this. And there's the feather and wedges when they were quarrying this material to make this place. There's another good piece with that material look on it. And instead of climbing down these like a big step, I'm gonna go down the side this time, and I can see the mosquitoes actively flying around in this wet ground. Got some big slabs of limestone here. Almost kind of like steps. But this is goes all the way over to there at least. Some of it might be buried. We're only seeing so much of it, but no, this is limestone too. It's not magical melt or melted infrastructure. I know people like the fantastical stuff, but it's unfortunately really not the case more times than not. I'm not trying to take away from people thinking and exploring different things, but you have to also acknowledge all the evidence that disproves a lot of it too. This is more of these limestone slabs in here. Kind of trying to get those in there, but I think I need to boogie on out of here. get to my next spot if I don't die first. So there's that. This spot, yet another self-evident limestone structure quarried from the materials that were heavily in this area, because that's just what it is. Sorry. And I guess until I get to my next spot or something else pops up I want to off the cuff about and whatnot, go off the cuff about. Mosquitoes. And my phone didn't pause. Okay, let's try that again. I came across another bit of raw limestone here. And no, it's not melted infrastructure or anything fantastical like that. This is just big chunks of limestone. And yes, they break and crack like that over a period of a long time. I mean, this isn't a slow process. But no, they broke and cracked like that, exactly what it looks like. This is just all raw limestone through here. Oh, I'm seeing poison ivy down here. And right here. This lovely plant of death right there. But this is all just raw limestone. It might have been, at the very least, had human hands on it at one time or another. So I'm not saying it's completely 100% natural, but it is definitely raw. They could have came through here and did some work when they put the road through here. So there's all this through here. Let's see if I can't get up through here. Oh, there's a bunch of poisonous plants down here. That's the only thing I don't like about this area. There's so much poison ivy and stuff. I'm limited. I've been allergic to this shit all my life. So it's not like I could just magically go out and start doing this and not, face the consequences. I know it's gonna happen when I go in that shit. I don't like it. It's all through here. The damn devil's plant itself. The plant of the devil. But no, this isn't melted or cooked out infrastructure. It's just raw limestone. And at the bare minimal, they might have smoothed it or had some kind of influence on it, but I doubt it. Because I see a lot of limestone look like this also, in creeks and in off the beaten path and trails where there's no infrastructure anywhere. But I know people want to have that fantastical idea this is all melted infrastructure. It's not. Sorry to burst your bubble. This is just raw limestone, because like I said, it's very native to this area. It's everywhere. I've seen the evidence of it. I've hiked trails. I've went through many creeks, and I know what limestone looks like and where it forms. And this place, what this tells me, that this place was underwater once. That's what this limestone is telling me. Because how would the limestone get here otherwise if limestone is from compacted ocean life, right? Well, it becomes evident that this area was underwater once when the world flooded. However many times it happened, I think it's cyclical. Then time resets itself. The clock starts over. Building new layers upon layers. The old layers. So that part's true. We are definitely living on old civilizations because the flood buries them, covers them up, and then creates a new layer on top of them. And we're living on top of all that. And all this limestone kind of, tells me that anyways. Or at least supports the fact that this area was underwater. And every reset creates a new layer, burying the old world of what doesn't survive, of course. However, various degrees of destruction that is. But yeah, I guess that's enough of my little ramble there. I'm going to pause this and get to my next location, because I don't want this video being super long. And I'm actually trying to get better about, not wasting time. I'm going to start pausing more and being a little more orchestrated with it. So, because it's, to the point to where it's bugging me having these super long videos. So yeah, I'm going to start doing pauses and cuts more. I folded. Didn't pause it for very long, but I'm going to try to capture this natural terracing through here. which shows this place was definitely underwater once, and it got pretty damn deep. Because if you look up this hill, try to get the sun out of there. You look up this hill, it goes, it's a steep incline. Of course, I can't really capture it a whole lot, but I'm gonna try. If you look up this hill, it's a steep incline. You can just kind of look down the side here and see it goes up like this. Just take my word for it, it's really hard to capture this in person, believe it or not. And the sun is constantly in my fucking face. But you can see how the ground level's up there. That's the ground level, and it just it's just an incline down. Sorry, the camera wanted to focus on my finger, but up there where you see the light through the trees, that's the ground level. It inclines down. So just to support, this area was flooded once and underwater. Then we go off to this end, which was probably the deepest part, or one of the deeper parts in this area. Because then you come down over here, and you see how steep this is. Look how steep this is. There's the ground level down there. And it continues to go down as it gets to the creek. So I think the Rock Creek was formed when this area was flooded, and it's just the remains of the water that once used to flow through here. This looks like it might have been just one, either all completely flooded or just one really large river cut through here. After the flood, well, if the world was flooded, the world would first of all had to have been flooded and covered by water. And then as the water recessed back into the earth, which I think there's a second ocean worth of water roughly in the great deep, the shoals. And when buoyancy flips or whenever the reset happens, like a woman giving birth, you know, the time starts over, whatever, etc. I think the waters recess back into the earth. And that's however long that process takes. Ground level's way down there. So yeah, so if the water flooded the entire earth and then it slowly recessed back into the earth, then you have to know the natural processes of the fluid dynamics would then create smaller lakes, ponds, rivers, follow the path of least resistance, etc. So all these waters we have and we see, I think they're constantly flowing back into the earth, and it's going to build back up to another flood, possibly even, as it keeps recycling its own water, essentially. But yeah, this is a pretty steep incline. So this was some deep water that came through here. I don't even think the phone's capturing the depth of this. I mean, I'm way up here. There's a little tire down there. You kind of barely see that tire in there. But this is awfully steep. This is some deep water out here. I mean, I'm up here at the tops of the trees. So that's just more evidence to support a world flood cataclysm reset, which is cyclical by design, it seems, because we are living in a clear arc, like a structural system here. It's clearly structured and it's undeniable. This isn't just some accident. So let's go ahead and just pedal the bike and record a little bit, see if I can get this naturally formed terracing from the floodwaters recessing at different points, cutting through the lands, re-etching it out, along with the plasma as well. And this is just almost kind of gives off the rock cliff vibes through here. Not rock cliff, hill drive or cliff drive, there we go. Gives off the cliff drive vibes. Well, I wonder if these places were connected at one time. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and just pause this. Actually, I'm gonna get up this material up here and then pause it. Yeah, that's a pretty steep hill right here. This shows the different levels of water that were here once. And then we humans came along and utilized the natural terracing and used it to our advantage. Because that's what people do. So, yeah, this place was naturally terraced and cut and carved by water, in my honest opinion. Hence all the limestone out here. All the evidence, when you connect the dots, it all just kind of falls into place. And more limestone just sticking out of the hills. And that limestone got there somehow. Wasn't just fucking magically put there. So yeah, I'm gonna get back on my bike here and get to the next location. I guess I decided to do a little ride by on this limestone wall here. Just for the scenic purposes of it. You see how the water helps shape this stuff. Here we got this granite structures here. Pretty detailed for a cemetery, man. People really went balls in with this shit, didn't they? Dude, we got this Greco-Roman Greek style one here. Now I see some Legos. Well, they're not very well done, but they're there. Definitely a different type of Lego-age going on here. Lego-age going on. You got some of that Greek style stuff going on there. This is, I honestly think this stuff here, I think, is a processed geopalmer granite. This doesn't give the appearance of normal granite at all. It looks like it was processed down into a mix and then re-hardened. I'm not saying that's a fact, I'm just saying that's what it looks like. But Paul Cook does a good job at showing how people in ancient societies and civilizations knew how to make geopalmers out of granite and limestone, sandstone, other materials. It's just old world cement, basically. You see him covering all the geopalmer structures and all the various forms of it. Hell, the guy made his own granite. So that's why I say, I wonder if this stuff was God, I can't even see it. The sun's blinding me. Good Lord. I'm gonna go over to this side. Apologies. The sun just has a really funny way of pissing on your parade. Like, I wonder if this part here was a softer, like, geopalmer putty, modeling putty, that used tools to carve into this, and then they hardened it. Oh no, they use ancient world CNC machines. No, it's more likely that this was a softer material like modeling putty, and they just carved this stuff into it and then heated it up. You know, like making pottery. Because it looks like they scooped out stuff right here. So at the very least, I would say, you know, just to put it out there, it's a possibility that this could be a granite palmer. And they've made it into like a thick modeling putty, and then they shaped it and then treated it and cured it by whatever means. Because you just look at this and it's like, how do they get those super nice sharp details in there? Well, if it was a soft material once, like a modeling putty, you can see what people can do with modeling putty. Kind of makes you wonder. Or this structure is actually newer and it is actually, in fact, CNC machined. I'm, of course, playing with the idea that this might be a granite palmer and they shaped all this like modeling putty. Well, this is a very high class door they put on here. This is what we do right here, people. Slap up fucking wood and call it good. This rather overkill structure for a cemetery just has a wood door, a slab of wood. Oh boy, this one has a slab of wood also. Let's go cover this one a little better. Oh yes, and to go into my point with the geopump, why I'm pushing it, or not pushing, I apologize, I shouldn't say that. Why I'm putting the idea out there that this is a granite palmer, and Paul Cook talks about it, and a lot of his videos, if they're still up there, his videos are kind of weird, they kind of come and go, I don't know why. That's him doing, or YouTube deleting them, no idea. But he pointed out in Egypt on some of the pyramids where they had granite, there's flaking. And only cements and stuff flake off. And look at this. Granite doesn't peel like this. See this? It's supposed to be granite. It's flaking off. Granite does not flake off. Only palmers do this. This stuff is flaking off. If Paul Cook sees this, he would probably be within agreement with me. This is supposed to be solid material. Granite does not flake like this. The only evidence I've seen of this stuff flaking is when it's like a geopalmer mix or a cement mix. A processed mix of some sort only flakes like this usually on something like this that's so supposed to be solid material. Granite being one of the hardest materials out there, supposedly. And it's just flaking like this. This isn't spalling, actually. This is something else. This shows evidence that this is a geopalmer, a granite palmer. And that's why it doesn't look like your normal granite. This was processed down. And there's your evidence right there. See if I can't capture this better. Well, hang on. Well, this part here might be actual granite. This has some of the raw bits on it, and it does look a little different and weathered, of course, because this is the part that's sticking out. But I do believe that they used a combination of palmers and actual raw material. So this would indicate to me that this part here is probably actual hard granite, and actual granite. But these pieces up here could be the parts. Well, this might, I don't know. We'd have to believe it's either a modeling putty or CNC machined. Because I don't see how anyone could do that with hand tools. Well, this is flaking off here too. Raw granite shouldn't flake like that in weird layers, like it was a cement mixture. But let's go ahead and try to get back on this one. Try to see if I can't get this clearly peeled. Granite. I mean, I could be entirely wrong on this. I guess I'll have to go home and look this up. But I know the answers aren't always going to be honest, so I do have to take that into consideration. But this shouldn't be peeling like that. It just looks like a cement mixture. Like it was processed down. Processed granite, and then they re-hardened it up with whatever the hell they added to it to make the binding agent. This is pretty fascinating, because last I knew, granite should never do this. I'm not trying to pull this whole piece off, but this bubbles all the way up to here. because you can hear it up here, it's solid. And I go down to here. Sorry, it's probably worked better. So it's bubbled pretty good. Oh no, it's falling off. I'm a monster. Very strange. I didn't think granite did that. And Paul Cook shows evidence of the granite palmers in Egypt pilling and flaking like this, so I have to wonder now. Yeah, I don't mean to be doing that, but I don't think granite should be pilling like that, flaking away. Very fascinating, and very random. I wasn't actually expecting to see this out here. So now I'm all like mesmerized by it and trying to piece it together now. So I'm seeing evidence of granite palmer, but then it looks like there's actual granite still, unless it's just some of it holds up better than others. That's very, very interesting. Huh. We'll have to figure that out now. I'm going to stick with, as of right now, that's evidence of a granite palmer. So what if all of these are made from this granite palmer and then cut and shaped with tools and then treated and hardened in different stages, made each piece and stacked it together like Lincoln logs. Yeah, very interesting. Well, I'm going to pause this and get on top of here and see what the top looks like. Now this piece up here does appear to look like actual granite and not that weird mix. This is an actual piece of granite right here. It looks like this might be as well. Man, these very interesting. I'm seeing conflicting evidence here now. So if this is a big slab of granite, how the hell? Let me go over on this other side because the sun just loves me today. I'm real popular. If this is one solid piece of granite, I mean, how big are the tools they use to cut this? One slab. Get over here. That's just one single cut slab. I mean, what the hell? Then they added all this ornate detail to it for the trim. In fact, this stuff here I think shows some sort of, actually it doesn't show anything. I'll stop there before I sound stupid. That just looks like weird bits of dirt. Kind of see in here. What is going on in there? Weird. You look straight across and looks like there's like an extra level in here, or the tops of something. But I'm up this high. So why would those, unless that's like some sort of roof in there? Who knows? But it's flaking here. I don't know. I guess I'll have to retract or figure out more about that geopalmer, that granite palmer stuff first, because I'm seeing conflicting ideas, which I ain't trying to push the wrong thing here. So I'm gonna have to just retract that for right now and do a little more research on that and try to figure that out. So I apologize on going on such a long tangent about that just to have to rethink it now, because I'm seeing conflicting stuff here. So that's unfortunate. It's either a pomegranate. Hang on, a granite palmer. This is either a granite palmer, or it's just big actual pieces of cut granite. It only can be one of the two. But this supports the granite palmer, clear as day right here. And or, apologies, and or granite does spall. And Paul Cook is wrong. But that does, if what he says is true, then that supports what he says. But I guess I'll have to go home and when I get done with this and see if granite actually spalls like that. Sorry about that. Sorry for rambling on about the granite palmer and the other stuff, but it looks like I'm gonna have to go home and do my research on that for sure. But we got these other structures through here. I decided to swing back around and record. I'm not gonna stop at each and every single one of them. I'll try to do my best to just kind of do a ride by on them and leave it at that, because I want to hear him get to this other spot and probably call this video done. The sun's right in my eyes. I can't even see if I'm getting this captured or not. The sun's not completely glaring it out actually. I cannot see my screen. There's more of this terracing from the shaped land of the flood. Looks real nice and steep right here, and then it drops off down right here. Yeah, I guess I'm saying most of these big hills and other things with limestone evidence and biology evidence on these big steep hills shows the shaped land from the flood. And we got this one up here. Actually, I think this is where the stampers start. Yeah, here we got some of the stampers right here. They're Coffeyvilles. We've got some of the Coffeyvilles in here. The Coffeyville pavers. Let's see. So yeah, they did a combination of these pavers and the other ones. And some of these are flipped face down. They're probably Coffeyvilles as well. I want to pull one of these up real quick and see. Yeah, these are just all pavers. Sorry for the shadow there. If there was one, I can't tell. My screen's being awfully dim right now. You see, it says a Coffeyville. Put that back. So yeah, there are evidence of Coffeyvilles out here, mixed in with the diamond-looking bricks with no stamps on them. As you can see, just Coffeyville, the old Coffeyville Canton press. So there's that. There's some of the stampers out here I wanted to show real quick. And I think, yeah, I'm almost to the other structure, so I guess I'll just coast down there and try to capture some of these other structures here with the limestone remains there. Now this stuff here I do feel is newer, maybe, because this is more cut. It looks newer-ish. This stone wall, limestone wall there. This is what I'm here for. Let me circle back real quick. Yeah, I do think this one's newer. Newer-ish. Roughly within the last 100 years or so, at least. So there's that. Let's get on with what I came here for. Before my phone melts down on me. God, I hope I don't have a bunch of trigger bites. Last time I came here, around 8/5, 2025, I was walking around this place and I got a horrendous amount of trigger bites. It was miserable because I went on vacation 5 days later that last year, and then yeah, it was miserable the whole time because I had trigger bites like a mofo. So let's go and get this place documented and recorded. Now that I'm finally doing my own little walk around, boots on the ground of this structure here, which is way too crazy to be in just a just a cemetery. Let's be honest. I do think these granite steps were added later. Actually, this bottom part's granite. This is probably added later. This is the stuff which I'm saying is more the geopalmer mix. But of course, the sun is literally right where I don't need it to be. Because fuck me, that's why. I don't even know if I can even get this build. I'm not sure if I can get a walk up to this one because the sun's just going to completely ruin the camera focus and light sensor. Now I don't really want to walk through the grass right now. Guess I'll just do my best to record this and just hope the sun doesn't completely ruin it. Let's get back a little bit and see if I can't get a nice wide view of this. Which of course I can't tell why my phone screen looks so dark. It's so annoying. It must just be really bright out here. But there's this structure, which I've known about for about over a year now. Even though I lived in the area for a while, I never really came out here until about that time last year. And I discovered this and just kind of kept it to myself and was like, oh, I'm going to do a video about that one day. But old Rossi boy beat me to it. But here I am doing my own little boots on the ground now of it. Very cool structure. We'll try to see evidence of fossils and shells in this. If I don't see any, then I'm just going to say it's geopalmer because I have not seen any whole shells or fossils in this material yet, which would indicate it's possibly a palmer of some kind. And sorry for the janky camera there. I'm trying to swat what I think are mosquitoes off my ankles. But let's go on ahead and get this place properly recorded, since I've never done it yet. Properly recorded in my own fashion anyways. Just gonna try to hope the sun doesn't ruin this. God, I can't even see. Alright, I guess it's in view here. Apologies for the sun. It just loves to be at the right place at the right time. I'm trying to trip up these steps neither. I have to cover my eyes. So hopefully this is being captured. I cannot tell, and I apologize if it isn't. Whew. And it's hot. It's gotten hot since I got out here. Okay, well, enough of that. I don't even know how much of that I've managed to get. But whatever. This is another reason why I think this might be a type of geopalmer. This might be a sandstone or limestone palmer, because this stuff just breaks off and flakes. And you never see any biology in it. So, guess we'll just go ahead and focus on this main part here first. I'm not saying all of it's geopalmer, I'm just saying certain bits of it are. Like this here is the limestone. I'm saying these parts here are the palmer. Hence why they hence why they deteriorate like this when they get weathered. If you've watched Paul Cook's videos and you watch him going through these geopalmer structures, which are completely obvious that's what they are, they deteriorate like this with water damage over a long period of time. It also could indicate this place might have been underwater once. So this infrastructure might be a lot older than we're being told. Unless we're to believe just rainwater deteriorated this polymer mix to that degree. But again, if you watch Paul Cook's videos, and he goes through completely undeniable geopolymer made structures, they deteriorate like this, which gives that a appearance of melting, which they are not melting. Or it's not a melted structure, it's geopolymer that came undone and looks like that as byproduct of other things. Sorry for that. Ran out of breath there and I had to try to finish that. Boy howdy. Anyway, there's some more fossils and shells in this old structure here. But like I said, I don't think it's all geopolymer. I just think certain pieces are. Being these trim pieces here, I think are a type of polymer. You'll never see any biology in these. But you'll see it in the limestone. I'm thinking this might be processed limestone polymer, where they took the shells out or grind them up so much they became powder, and they just made the polymer. And yeah, this is all cracking and falling apart. There's a cyclist out here. How weird. So yeah, I think this stuff is like, as of right now, I'm going to call this a type of polymer mixed with limestone. I'd have to wager it's a type of limestone polymer mixed with raw limestone. Why they built it that way, I can't tell you. They clearly did it though. This is I think this is an older structure than we're being told for sure. Just all the damage and the deterioration of the materials. This takes a long time to do. They cause this much damage to the surface of these. It takes, I don't know, just be generous or whatever. Probably takes a couple hundred years for this stone or this material to be exposed to the elements and start cracking out like this. So, who's to say how really old this is? But it definitely shows signs of being older than they're saying. I mean, that stupid little plaque isn't telling you the truth, that's for sure. This his story plaque down there isn't telling you the truth about this place. Again, I think these are polymer pieces formed and put on top as capstones. And they left the raw stone, limestone, as the other parts. Why? Gee, I don't know. Aesthetic reasons, I guess. And it almost looks like these marks here, they're not consistent, so they're not cutting marks, they're not saw blades. They look like someone had a tool and was raking across this putty-like mixture. And when they were shaping some of these, some were rougher than others. There's no exact perfection to this. They just did it, I guess. Sometimes you'll see dimpling, and other times you'll see these scrape marks, like someone had something they were just scraping across it to shape it. Because you can see these lines, they're not consistent and they're not uniform. Look like someone came through here and was applying like a stucco or something, but these were just big pieces of polymer and they just shaped them like that before they treated them, I guess. Because you can see it on these pieces. So that's why I say these are these shaped, puttied, made pieces, like the geopolymer made parts. And look at it. There's no biology in it. It deteriorates like the geopolymer structures Paul Cook shows in his videos. And yeah. I think this is just the tooling marks when this was a thick, dense putty and they made these pieces. They used tools on them like that, and for whatever reason they decided to leave them rough like that, I don't know. But this stuff deteriorates like geopolymer, because all the videos I've seen of Paul Cook's points towards that. And this goes around this whole structure, it looks like. I'll do a walk around and point it out too. Like I say, these parts are cast molded as well, from the same material. It's completely obvious. You see the same tooling marks on it. And look at it. That's a cast mold. That's a Palmer. That was a Palmer once. And all of these things show the same evidence of being cast molded and having human tools on them to help shape them and finalize the product, I guess. But even the window has that cast thing there. It's clearly been cast out of some sort of Palmer modeling putty, I call it. And you see it along this whole window. It's got the same kind of indicators of the same casting with the natural limestone around it. Clearly two different materials. This isn't, what I'm saying is, this isn't cut from anything. These are. Like, this material could be that material. It could be a limestone Palmer, as I've been trying to say and bumble about. Because we got the marks here, got the marks under here. Look at this one. Clear scrape marks, like someone applied this. It's the same thing. I guess we were never meant to see this part here. It looks like someone clearly used something to rake across there when it was a putty-like mixture. And of course they got the faces in here with the geopolymer deterioration look going on. No, it's not melt. Just go check out Paul Cook if you haven't, you'll see. This stuff is clearly showing evidence of being a Palmer. And it deteriorates as such. So this is all the Palmer mix stuff here. Got another face over there. Cast molded into this Palmer. Limestone Palmer, I'm just going to call it from here on. Because when have you ever seen something like this turn into this just because someone cut it? This is a very fine mix. This isn't rough and coarse and gritty like this. This is a very processed looking mix. It's very fine. And they had these tools go through it like this. Why? I can't tell you why those tooling marks there, but it clearly points towards this being a type of Palmer. You got the Palmer coming undone here, because it is like essentially just a very advanced modeling putty. I guess over the years of rain hitting it, it will cause it to do that and flake. And if this is made from limestone, it's more than likely going to have the same problems as limestone. It's going to spall and flake off, because limestone is a very spally material. I don't want to deface this anymore, but you can see that part's about to come off. So I think with certainty, I'm going to say this is a type of limestone Palmer. And the rest of it's just raw limestone, because you see the shells in it. But you'll see the red colors in this. The red, and, well, not really red, it's more like a dark orange. The limestone colors. then you'll see it. You'll see the limestone colors in this mix because it separates and does different things as well. You'll see the limestone color here. This is the raw state of the limestone. This is it processed down into a modeling putty, a more shapeable, moldable, easier to work with material. Kind of like how the pyramids were built. They processed the material down, made it easier to move around, and they recasted it into bricks and block work. And that's kind of the same thing I'm seeing with these structural pieces here. These are processed down limestone and then recast. Because here's the colors of the limestone and this very fine mixture where there's no more shells existent. But when you come over here, you can see the same color in this raw limestone. So that's the evidence I'm going to show for that supports it at this point, until anyone can say otherwise, or I can prove myself otherwise. I'm going to say with pretty much certainty that these are limestone cast geopolymer pieces. I know I'm beating a dead horse and repeating myself a lot, but I'm kind of trying to look at this and analyze it and talk about it, do a multitask, do a bunch of crap. And yeah, and here we got more of that exposed, super fine, powdery mix. As you can see, there's no shells in this. They've all been ground down and became parts of the calcium, which probably helped make this harden up when they were done. Hope my phone camera's picking up the colors here because it's got that very limestone color. But you'll notice as I look at these pieces, there's no shells or biology left in these. They've either been processed out or ground up into the powder, which I don't see why they would process it out. They probably would just leave it in the mix because it adds calcium and strength to the mix. And we got this. Get this angle here, this view. Sorry, I'm gonna start that over. Pan up. That way we can see the limestone, the raw limestone with the limestone polymer mix together structurally. You'll notice this, they did a lot of this stuff, even with I think the Union Station and the Liberty Memorial was processed limestone and then recast. But shells did end up in that stuff though. I have seen shells in those, so I wonder if it's just a combination like this. Zoom out of that. That's really hard to capture. Hell, that one's missing. No, guess I never had one. Apologies. This I never had. This what's going on over here. Let me go on ahead and not die here because I'm walking on this and hopping on and off this piece and it drops off everywhere and yada yada. Let's try to capture some of these higher up pieces. Stop focusing down here. Let's just focus on this one. And then go over this one. So there's this side and my ramblings and thoughts on this. Let's go to the other side and then we'll do a walk around. Or suppose since I'm here, I just do the walk around now and then end up back on that side. And we'll just do that. So again, the recasted limestone that was made into a polymer, raw limestone. You'll notice that as I walk around, just keep that in mind. You can even see the same colors. It's just there's no evident shells in this. There's no biology in it anymore. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and pause this real quick and move my bike up closer. Okay, I got the whip up here, as Ross would say. Kind of a cool way of putting it. I never thought to call my bike a whip, but got it up here, and guess we'll walk back down and around, and I'll end up back on the other side and show the other side, which is virtually mirrored anyways. I'll go on ahead and show it anyway. Oh no! Oh no! There's a survivor! Where'd you go? Did you go right here, buddy? Is this your home? Oh no, you don't fit there anymore. Huh, this is tragic. Poor buddy lost his home. He survived, and his brethren and sisterin became limestone. Sorry. Not really, but it is just kind of funny at this point to me. What's that doing in there? Hang on. What's that doing in there? Do they build like that? Seriously, let that question sink in. You'll come to an honest answer if you're willing to see the answer. The self-evident answer as to why random bricks like that are stuffed in random parts of walls. Let's just say it's exactly what it looks like. It's just a janky repair. Nothing more. It just shows our retarded civilization was too lazy and they did a crappy repair job. Sorry people, but that's just what it is. This was cast. Again, back at this piece, it clearly looks like the limestone colors, but no biology. This is clearly, in my honest opinion, processed down and recast limestone. And here we got the raw limestone before it, was processed down. Let's see if there's any biology in here. Nope. Nothing in there. But there's sure the hell biology in these unprocessed limestones. Yeah, I could point these shells out all day long on every structure that use limestone. Here's some more limestone. Processed limestone palmer, and there's no shells in it. No shells in it. The only thing you see in it are streaks of what look like calcium. Like this here. That white stuff in there looks like some sort of the hardening agent they use to make this stuff turn back into a cement. Looks like calcium. Like this little white bit right here. You know what they say, separation's natural, even in the mix. But this white in here, to me, just shows that's some form of mineral or calcium that was added to make this stuff harden up again. Cool beans. This right here, I shouldn't even have to say, if you see this look on it, it looks like this. If it looks like this and not like that, this is what I'm calling limestone palmer, and that's the raw limestone. I'm not going to keep saying it because I know it's getting annoying because it's annoying me. But we'll try to find evidence of biology in this palmer. Little pieces just sprinkled everywhere. Got this cool cast spout up here. Oh, they carved out limestone. Oh yeah, where are the shells at? There's no biology in this. Looks like a fine powder mix. Every time you see it exposed and broken, it just looks like a finely mixed powder. Every time. Like, for example, this looks like a powder. Oh God! Sorry, some weird centipede thing just made my life flash before my eyes. And I am a character, quite a unique character. I have a lot of voices I usually do in random moments of excitement, which I usually try not to do in my videos too much, but that one slipped in there, so I apologize. Hopefully you get a good laugh out of it, but as you can see, this big old flaked piece, where are the shells at? Where's the biology? Clearly it looks like limestone though. The colors of limestone. Nothing. And we got the raw spalling limestone all through here. Apologies for that quick transition there. The sun was getting in the corner of my eye there, and I wanted to hurry up and get out of it, out of the angle of the sun, because it's currently right up over here, and it's being relentless. Let's see, any more shells in here? Well, I mean, any shells at all? Any form of biology in this cast material? Besides weird clumps of stuff that aren't shells. But yeah, I don't see any shells in this. The most I'll see is like this white separation of like something they added to this mixture. This is a cast piece, obviously. Cast, not cast. This is a rain spout here. Got the same scrub marks when they were shaping this, and it was a putty. Why they left it raw like that or shaped like that, I don't know. I'm not the one who built the damn place. I'm just showing what it looks like. I'm just showing the evidence of what I see, and hopefully I'm doing a okay job at that. Here we got another cast piece. Looks like this was something that was added later, maybe? Yeah, this was added later. This isn't even the same material at all. Yeah, some sort of cement they painted. This is some sort of cement and they painted it to make it look like rocks. That's what we do. Dumb shit like this. You see it's a cement. And we painted it. That's the dumb shit we do. And slap mortar in all the joints, all sloppily like. Did it melt out like that? No. Now we're closer to this side. Let's try to get some panning work on here. I shouldn't even have to say it. You should be able to separate the two by now. I hope. It's self-evident at this point to me. Let's see if I can get this to zoom in a little bit. Now that I'm closest, I can probably get closer and show some of the casting qualities of it. They didn't chisel it out of limestone. That was cast. I mean, look at it. Cast and then tooled to finish the product. Or they tooled it like that and then they hardened it up in whatever order of operation they did it in. I guess we could say this was the process of making it, and then they hardened it up and it just left the tooling marks on it. Baked the tooling marks in with it. Let's do another pan up on this side. And I do think this structure is older than we're being told. I would say this structure could very well easily be several hundred years old, just to be generous and not sound too crazy. I'll get really nice and close to this one. Clearly been cast from a modeling putty-like mixture, and then tooled, and then hardened, and then put in here. About died. I stumbled backwards on this like a stooge. Refocus light. It does have those more ornate castings up there. Can't get them very well. Yeah, if I walk out there, I'm gonna be in straight sunlight, so I probably won't. Oh, we get real nice and close. Look, it's been cast. This is a nice casting. Here we got the raw material where you see all the biology still sprinkled in it. Then we got this one here, which does not have any more biology or shells left, as they've been ground down to a powder or removed. Sorry for the quick camera work here. Very uncomfortable and breakneck to keep looking up like this, to hold my arms up. Very clearly cast material. Is this another cast piece? I don't know, this looks like it came off of something else. No, I think this is, not sure. And they're the same material in my mind, but it's hard to tell which that actually is. It's the cast piece and or limestone, raw limestone piece. But as I can continuously point out, I haven't seen any shells or ocean biology left in any of this material. But you see the colors of the limestone in this, they're clearly the same thing. And why do we have... Oh, that's what's different since I last been here. They cut these trees down. I thought something was different. Anyway, now I can actually get in here and look better. Thank you for helping me out. As you can see, there's like a basement level down here. I thought that was a pipe at first, but then I saw it came to this rain drain. Storm drain. I was about to say, why is there a pipe going in there? But then I saw it better, and there's that. So we can just scratch that. Got this newer cement crap right here. Oh, of course it's not going to lift up. Broken material. Let's see if there's any shell biology left in any of this. This piece does have stuff in it, but this could just be a broken piece of the actual raw material though. Now if I see this tooling marks like this, and I see a shell, I'll change my mind, but I have not seen that yet. Still nothing. casting mark right there. There's that white. There's that white separation in there. That did not help. Sorry. You can see there's a separation between the mixtures. Like there's some sort of calcium or hardening agent added into this mix. Looks like a type of cast material, doesn't it? And there's no shells still. You made your point. Shut up. All right then, let's see. That's a big. I'm really dreading going on that side of the building. It's in straight sunlight, and it's gonna suck. Trying to see if I can't capture this foundation work here. Not doing so good. Yeah, it's really hard to get down in there. It looks like big block work and other weird things going on. Yeah, I'm not walking in this grass. I got trigger bites really bad last time I walked in there last year. Oh look, this piece was sitting on the iron. And now it's got iron oxidation going on this material. Gee, I wonder how that works out. This piece was sitting on this iron for a while. There's more iron oxidation on this material too. What a mystery. Let's see. Actually, man, I'm gonna have to walk in this trigger-infested grass. Oh God, pray for me. That one big piece that broke off from right there is now missing. There was a piece down here that was laying around here on the ground. It seems either someone snatched it up or the cemetery people came and moved it finally. Because it was here last year, and it was here when Ross came through here. And now I don't see it, unless the grass consumed it. Let's try to get back onto the focus here. That piece is missing. It was here laying on the ground, but I currently don't see it anymore. Man, someone beat me to it. Oh well. This one still has mostly the side left. So there's that side. Let's see if we can't see anything down here. Probably not. Nope, it's too bright and everything else. So we're just going to walk around to this other side. So let's see if the other piece is sticking here in the grass. I really don't think it is. I think they moved it finally. It was laying, actually I moved it up over here. Can't see my fingers on the screen, it's so bright. Yeah, I moved it onto that iron grate when I was here to get it out of the way. And now it's no longer here. Kind of a bummer. Hopefully they didn't just pick up and trash it. That's a cast material piece right there. Can you explain how they carved that out? Bet you can't. That's cast. That's geopalmer, boys and girls. get it from this angle. They cast that from a limestone polymer. Well, this looks like a copper rain spout, pretty ornate. Old world looking. But that piece of ornate casting up there. Man, I hope I don't get a bunch of chigger bites. They love this grass out here. I'm in the thick of it. Oh, that's terrible. Man, I hope I don't get trigger bites. Probably gonna go home and rub my ankles with rubbing alcohol after this. Like I said, it's basically what's mirrored on this side. So I'm not gonna spend too much time with it. Just kind of quickly get up and down pans. Because it is essentially mirrored, as most of these old structures are. I'm trying to be more considerate of moving the camera slower, because my camera does not record at very high FPS. It's still capped at, or locked at 30, and I have no option to change it. So if I move too fast, it just doesn't capture it. So I gotta do nice and slow movements. So definitely what I would say an old world structure with some modern stuff added to it over the many years it's been repurposed and whatnot. And this part here almost looks like it was buried and washed underground a little bit, doesn't it? Look like a mud flood or a flood came through here, or this area was flooded once and this structure just survived. But this is buried now. Look at it. So is that evidence of a more recent type of minor flood event, or is this remains of the actual flood event and this thing's really old? Which I don't think that's the case. I mean, this could have just happened naturally too over the years of rain and whatnot, but just playing around with the idea there, boys and girls. Sorry, these mosquitoes are distracting. Anyways, as I was saying, I'm just playing around with the idea. I'm not saying that's what I believe. This church. Yeah, looks like this might have been a flaking of an indigenous thing at one time. Maybe. Anywho, let's just go on ahead and get on with this. There's that spout. I guess I should have recorded that more without getting distracted. There's some old mud dauber's nest there. Boy, those things suck. And this limestone stuff does like to spall and crack. Even the geopalmer mixtures seem to not have any chance to stand up against its natural qualities. Let's look at this piece if I get staged up here. Huh. Still not seeing any shells in this. Yeah, nope. Just your typical limestone palmer. No shells or left. Besides this white calcium separation, which could be the remains of the shells when they got powderized even. This piece fell off right here. Fell off right here. Haha. Yeah, I have yet to see any biology in any of this material, because it's obviously a polymer mix. The rest either gets processed out or becomes part of the powderized mix. Oh no, it's none of those things. So yeah, there's that. This is going way too long as usual, so let me try to get through this a little quicker. Because I said this is just mirrored. There's more of that weird white and powdery mixture separation in there, in the mix. And it would seem we have one little chunk of a surviving shell in there finally. Boy, that one got past the processing. Just that tiny little flake survived. And that is just a tiny little flake from what I can see. It's not a whole shell, it's not a complete shell, it's just, it looks like it was crushed up and just not fully processed down. So boy, this does show the evidence that this is limestone. It's just been processed down to this more malleable material. They can make cool castings like this. I mean, that's all that little shell fragment tells me. Out of all the pieces I've seen, that's the very first one I've seen. That just tells me and supports and actually completely backs up what I'm saying. These are processed limestone. This is the raw limestone. A little tiny bit of the shell actually survived in that mixture over there. And so there's a lot of people out here today apparently. Go figure. And there's a cool casting there. Alright, let's get on to this other side and be done with this. Of course the sun's straight up in my eyes again. I'm gonna just stop. That's just irritating. Okay, let's walk up this way here. See what we got. Try to stay in the shade because the sun. And this here, weirdly enough, you can see this. Look at this cut mark in here. It looks like a mixture, very fine powder, and it was cut. And this part was cut and placed here from this very large polymer fucking slab they made here. And on that note, here's this piece, completely exposed. I see no shells in it. No shells. And you come up here, and you still don't see any shells, even on this big slab of it right here. Let me try to get this whole thing in here. I don't see any biology in this. Nothing remaining anyways. And all the white stuff you see, it looks like that milky white mixture that's in there. Basically this stuff. But there's no shells in here. I promise, I'm not lying to anybody. If I see a shell, I'm going to point it out. I don't see any shells in this. Besides this weird white separation of the calcium or whatever they use to make this hard again. Like a hardening agent or something. And this part here, I don't know why this part's so damaged. What happened to this piece? I mean, I know this stuff flakes and spalls away like it's been doing right here. You can see this crack. But this whole top is missing. This one's starting to fall apart. And no shells. Whew. Right on. Let's go up and get this one. That piece I fell off in the back looked a lot like this. There's another one up over here. But yeah, there's this one. That's a cast material. They didn't chisel it out or carve that out from any material. That's clearly a casting. And it's the same material as this is. I've seen it in person when that piece in the back was still on the ground. Just whatever that piece is cast from is the same as this. In fact, low-key, I actually picked up a few pieces when I was here and have them at home. And I was going to show those in a video to support this, which I seem to be doing this first before coming out and doing that, so whatever. But those cast pieces are made from this exact same cast material. I have a piece of that spire piece up at my house because when it fell, pieces broke off, and I happened to pick up a little piece of it, and various other small pieces, which I have not told anyone about until now. Got the cast face, got the cast flowers. Got that cast piece up there. Sorry for the jittery movement here. I'm going to try to go slow. I don't know if that's going to happen. Oh, goodness. Sorry for that. Probably should have zoomed out first. Pretty detailed. Huh. You can tell this stuff is clearly cast from something. That doesn't look like raw material that's been chiseled into. This is some sort of advanced modeling putty, Palmer. They cast these pieces or hand carved them into the modeling putty, hand shaped them, and added all the details and then treated it. In fact, we got some light on this one. Now you can clearly see the same casting designs and characteristics. Hopefully the same colors popping out on it. In fact, one of the pieces I have, I think, is the top piece of one of those. That weird little top piece you can see right there on the top of that ball. That's the piece I have. It's one of those little top pieces right there. It fell off of one of the pieces when it fell off in the back. I picked it up for research purposes only and to analyze over it. But yeah, I can assure you with evidence in hand that that piece up there is cast from the same material this is cast from. One second. Yeah, the details are not fully there anymore, but you see enough of them. Kind of feel the lips a little bit, still the nose, the cheek there a little bit. Looks like deteriorated geopolymer to me. Although this bit here just completely falling apart. Paul Cook would have a heyday seeing this. He's like, oh, that's evidence of a geopolymer. I'd say yes. And right here you can see that geopolymer deterioration. It kind of deteriorates like a putty or Play-Doh. Actually, I think I might be able to get closer to this one. Looks like I did some regrouting on here, if I'm saying that right. Like thorns and a rose. Does that have something to do with the Ascantha and the Rosicrucians and all that stuff? Yeah, thoughts. But yeah, I think that's about it for this spot. Besides, I've missed one face hiding up there. Another cast ornate face hiding up there. And we can go ahead and check the other side real quick, and I'm probably going to call this done for now. Or I might go check out one more spot and then call it done, but I am starting to get hungry and thirsty. I brought nothing with me. I don't live that far, so it's like, well, this shouldn't take that long. Yeah, right. If I can make anything last a couple hours somehow. Oh well. Look, my whip is still there. Let's try to get real quickly into this other spot real fast. Oh, there's a face hiding up there. Not sure why I ignored that, or just overlooked it anyways. Geopolymer's falling, boys and girls. Okay, let's get up here. And get this other mirrored face. Looks slightly different. So there's that one. I don't know why I didn't really get close up to these ones, but got the geopolymer flaking going on here. That just flakes off. This side does seem to be more weathered than the other side. But again, here's a clear shot of this very fine mix. I'll get as close as my phone will allow me to. You can see the nice little powdery mix there. Definitely not a raw material, because raw material don't ever look like that I've seen breaking open rocks. So this is definitely a processed down material and made into a polymer. And with that, I guess I'm going to pause this video. And if I don't unpause it, I've stopped it. So I guess I'm gonna check out one more spot and put eyes on it. And if I decide to record anything about it and ramble, I guess we'll find out. If I don't, then right on. Well, I decided to go off into some tree line here. I found these big, humongous terracotta piping pieces. Humongous. It's plastic. These are really quite large pieces. So I'll make this quick. I don't want to be down here too long poking around, but I figure why not? Looks like there's some sort of terracotta pipe sticking out up over there. Probably a newer one within the last 100 years or so. 80, 100 years. This stuff here could be older for all we know. So I guess since I'm recording, I might as well go ahead and record a little bit down here, I guess. I think Ross might have poked down here in his video also. Here we got raw limestone again. As it's everywhere out here. More chunks of terracotta hiding in here. This is a newer plastic bottle with liquid in it. Kind of keeping up for anything glass, maybe. That'd be cool. So far, all I'm seeing is, well, there's a glass bottle. I've already found 2 other glass bottles, but not anything too particularly amazing. I don't think they're super old or anything. So yeah, well, there's quite a bit of glass off over here actually. Or I'm not gonna say trash, because that's what this is. This looks like a bunch of trash. So I can go ahead and scratch that. Let's go off this way for a quick minute. Now I'm not saying there isn't anything old hiding in here, but that was just trash. Probably walking into a damn mosquito nest. Oh well. Let's see what we can find off the beaten path. And not step on anything crazy. This what looks to be newer infrastructure added in here at some point. Another huge chunk of terracotta piping. Guess when they destroyed the old irrigation, they just added their new stuff. Oh, this looks like a clearly cut piece of something. Because it is. That's not some accident. I'm not carrying that out of here. You can forget about it. I'm going to dig that out. It's probably not a stamper anyways. Awesome. These shoes are not waterproof. I don't know what I'm doing down here. Oh, it's one of those pavers that wash down here without the stamp on it. That diamond look mixture. Huh. Yeah, I'm not trying to spend too much time down here. This video is already going on way longer than it should have, as usual. As byproduct of my unplanned videos go. At least they're not fake. Now I got the boots on the ground, so might as well see if I can find anything at all down here. Besides these non-stamped diamond-esque looking bricks. Huh. Yeah, usually I'm down in places like this, the camera just wanders around because I'm trying to look at other stuff and not miss anything. As it goes. Piece of terracotta sticking out under there. Looks like a big old piece of granite. Yes it is. Now this is actual granite, this isn't that polymer stuff. Oh, there's a D on it. Well, look at that. There's a D for D's nuts. I'm kidding. Let's try to clean this out a little bit. I wonder what this went, where this went to out here originally. Is it like a lot number for graves or? Interesting. Maybe one day I'll come back and grab that. I don't know. It is a pretty nice piece of granite, so it's heavy. I don't know. I'll probably forget about it. I'll come back for it later. Then forget. Doesn't seem like there's too much down here. This looks like it just runs off to Rock Creek. Well, there's a nice wall of that raw lime out here, limestone. However, I gotta get some spider webs out of my way. There's some natural limestone here where the water ran and cut through the hills. Let's see. Not sure how I'm gonna get through this mess. But I do see this cool, humongous limestone wall here. Natural limestone wall. I see this stuff all the time out by the creeks and such. Of course, I walk straight into a big web. This is what natural limestone layers look like. There's melted infrastructure. No, it's not. This is one of the many layers that were created during the reset. Flood and plasma, I'd say, hardened up this material to make this layer. Makes more sense than a melted structure, which can't even be proven. But everyone can prove a flood and prove that limestone exists. So it's provable that a flood happened and there's limestone. I'm just adding the plasma into the ingredients of it. This is not the spot I wanted to come to. I wanted to just put eyes down here for a minute. Yeah. Probably gonna get out of this mess here in a second. Because exactly what this is just a mess. Hoping to find some old glass bottles down here. This one's fairly old, I guess. It's got that stupid federal law warning on it, so it's got to be from around the 50s roughly. So who knows, I might find some other old stuff sticking around out here. Oh, these spider webs, boys and girls. Unbelievable. Spider webs for days. Obviously not a very trafficked spot down through here. More of this limestone. More of it up over here. It's melted infrastructure. No, it's not. You can't even prove it. Old amber bottle here. It's broken. Yeah, I'm about to probably be done in here, as I keep saying now and not doing. I kind of want to go down this one last little spot and call this quits. I can't fall in the water here. My shoes are not water resistant. They are, well, speak of. They are meshed and webbed. Okay, I'm about done with this spot here. Really don't like dealing with wet socks. Why I came down here? Good question. It was actually really miserable. I walked in about a bazillion fucking spider webs, and now I'm falling in the water. Whew. This is awesome. Just hoping to see if I couldn't find old bottles or stampers in this part real quick. Damn branches. America! Just heard an explosion. Yeah, I'm out of here. I'm just going to pause this and get out. Anyway, just a quick update on this little spot. I'll have to come back through here when I'm more prepared. I'm not prepared for this. I'm already getting hangry and thirsty and all the above stuff. And then, yeah, this is going on for way too long. So I'll have to come back through here and look through here later. So yes, I got to the last spot. I'm just gonna go on ahead and say this isn't melt or damaged infrastructure. This too is just limestone. And these are limestone steps. Not a mystery here either. It's all just limestone through here. However, human hands obviously were on these, of course. This isn't like completely natural or nothing. See some of the weird tooling marks on it. So this is just more of the same. Just limestone, got biology in it. Of course, this is more raw limestone, just in random pocketed areas sticking out of the hill here. And it's just raw limestone through here. got this interesting stuff in it. Looks like they cut down a lot of trees out here. Let's go off over here real quick. Check out this limestone wall over here in the shade because I want to get out of the sun. Whew. Look at this limestone wall that was built by us humans. There's the mortar. It's all limestone and in various different states of erosion and other things. Yeah, I know no one likes to hear that word, but it's just self-evident. This is just all limestone through here as well, in various different states of its existence. I see a lot of this stuff out in the woods and creeks and hilly areas also. This is definitely more speckled and whatnot. Yeah. Weathered and whatnot also. So yeah, I guess with that in mind, I'm just gonna go ahead and end this. Don't need to waste any more time on this spot. It's just more of the same. There's a heavy, abundant material out in this area. And for whatever reason, it is speckled kind of funny, but who knows, maybe humans did that or tried to do something with this area and never finished. And they just got the steps put in and tried to clear the spot out a little bit and just left remains of limestone everywhere. But yeah, this is clearly this limestone. Big old limestone piece sticking out here. There's fossils. As I said, this is just limestone. There's nothing, no mystery here. It's not melted infrastructure. It's limestone. There's your evidence. And this came off from the top of the piece right here. This piece fell off from somewhere in here and came down. It's just limestone, boys and girls. It's not melted infrastructure. It's no mystery here. Ain't no magical unicorn farts. It is what it is. More biology in this. Shells and whatnot. You see all the shells and the fractulated materials in there. Almost thought that was a shell I could picked up. If you look up limestone, it just pretty much looks like this more times than not. But yeah, sorry to burst people's bubbles with that one as well. It's not melted infrastructure. It's limestone. What a surprise. Let's go see if we can't find more fossils sticking out of this side for consistency's sake. Oh, look, walked up right to one. Yep, there's all the evidence you need to see. No mystery here. There's a fossil sticking out of this big piece here also. Not melted infrastructure, just naturally made materials. And it goes. There's a lot more under the ground that we're not seeing. Here's more of these diamonds without stamps on them. I wonder if the people that made the diamond bricks made these and just didn't stamp them. Or some other company just happened to use the same style mix and didn't stamp them for their own reasons. So yeah, I guess that's the gist of this spot. That's all I wanted to see, because I know, people want to think this stuff is melted infrastructure. It's not. It's really not that deep or fantastical, I'm sorry. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff that happened to this stuff. A lot of explainable things, but this is just exactly what it is. It's limestone. There was an old melted fucking infrastructure here that had a goddamn meltdown and became stone. And there's your evidence. This stuff doesn't exist in building materials unless, you know, it's limestone that was quarried limestone. Well, mainly what I'm saying, this stuff doesn't exist in brick. So this is some red brick infrastructure that had a meltdown and became this material. Yeah, make it make sense. I'm not gonna get on it right now, because I already know no one can. But you can ignore all the evidence all you want. This stuff was never brick. It's always been limestone, and it's not fucking melted down. Limestone looks like that. Go outside more and look at limestones and rocks like I do. You might learn something. Anyway, I'm not being mean. I'm just trying to get the point across. So I think I'm going to end this one here and head home. So there's my little janky, weird, off-the-cuff boots on the ground. Yeah, well, I might go out and do something else again today, maybe. Or I'll go out and do something tomorrow. Haven't decided yet, but I guess we'll see if I have 2 uploads today or not. Or whenever I decide to upload these. So until then, I suppose, hopefully for those who enjoyed, and for those who didn't, that's fine. But that's it for me. I'm heading home and getting something to eat and drink. Until my next jank video. Just a little update on my way out. I was looking for another structure out here and I just realized I didn't get it. Or I just missed it. But I think this is the one. And I have evidence that shows this is a way older infrastructure. And a lot of this stuff was added to it. The columns and all that front entranceway was added. This piece right here was added, these columns were added, and these columns were added. Now I have a picture that shows this from the early 1800s or 1900s, and it does not look like this. I'll have a picture of it inserted into the video for this quick little update. But yeah, this structure has definitely been covered up and been repurposed, and I got evidence of that, so I'll just leave it at that, and I'll have the picture shown, inserted to show what I'm saying. So that'll be that. Another little quick update on me going on about limestone and whatnot. When I say limestone, that's what it is. I'm talking about this particular area, like Kansas City, Missouri. I'm not saying it's the case for every location. I'm just saying out in the area I'm in, it's a lot of limestone. And it's not transmutated brick or none of that weird shit. But I just wanted to make that clear that, you know, I keep pointing out this limestone. I'm not speaking for every location in the world where other people have access to and can put their eyes on it. It very well could be different in your location and the area of geology you just happen to be in. But where I'm at in the world, there's a lot of limestone out here. And it's heavily used in a lot of the infrastructure, the old world infrastructure around here. So that's all I want to get to say with that. So no one thinks I'm just saying, oh, everything's limestone. Well, no, everything in my area seems to be the case, with evidence that I can literally go up and look at and point out every time that the stuff out here is limestone or processed geopalmer limestone. So, just want to make that clear. And again, I'm just talking about the area of the world I'm in has a lot of limestone. So, that's that.